story is. There was more of an appetite for seriousness. It was only last week that I think this programme decided that the most important thing that had happened in the world was that a drugged-up, faded boy band singer had fallen off a balcony. Even the 10 o'clock news, which is normally good on these things, thought it was the second most important thing that had happened in the world. And I think there was a wider agenda or a wider appetite. If you look at the news these days, they seem to be hammering away at the same half dozen stories, while whole continents go unmentioned for month after month.
But also, you disappeared for days and
nobody knew where I was.
What's Buerk up to?
The great thing about the BBC is that you get the...
The recent tragic death of Liam Payne, former One Direction singer, has ignited a fierce debate about the media's portrayal of his life and the ethical obligations of news coverage. Payne, a beloved figure with a global fan base, died on October 16th after falling from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires. In the wake of his death, conflicting reactions have emerged, primarily sparked by former newsreader Michael Buerk's comments on the BBC's Radio 4 Today program. Buerk, aged 78, expressed disdain over what he felt was excessive media coverage of Payne's death, calling the singer a drugged-up, faded, boy band singer and criticizing the emphasis on Payne's death over what he viewed as more pressing global issues. His remarks have since spurred both backlash and support, bringing forth critical discussions on how the media addresses tragedy, particularly when it involves public figures with past struggles. The harsh tone Buerk adopted did not sit well with many listeners. Social media platforms quickly lit up with criticism, as many took offense to what they perceived as an unfeeling and dismissive attitude toward Payne's tragic end. Writer Jenny Landreth highlighted the insensitive tone, pointing out that Buerk's approach felt sneery and needlessly disdainful, especially at a time when many fans were mourning Payne. Stand-up comedian and novelist Jenny Eclair simply responded, "Ugh," capturing the feelings of many who felt Buerk's remarks lacked empathy and respect for both Payne and his grieving fans. Critics accused Buerk of being stuck in the past and likened him to a dinosaur whose outlook did not align with modern sensitivities. For some, his comments reinforced stereotypes of a bygone era in journalism, where topics such as mental health and addiction issues were viewed with scorn rather than understanding. In an age where empathy and inclusivity are increasingly central, many argued that Buerk's comments were not only unkind but outdated. His perspective, however, did resonate with some listeners who viewed the intense media coverage surrounding Payne's death as disproportionate given ongoing global crises. One supporter, Richard Butterworth, expressed appreciation for Buerk's stance, saying that while the grief surrounding Payne's death is valid, the media's focus on the story detracted from other important news events. Butterworth, echoing Buerk's sentiments, suggested that the media overkill on Payne's death overshadowed crucial developments worldwide, making it difficult to maintain perspective on issues of global importance. Buerk, who came to prominence with his reports on the Ethiopian famine in the 1980s, also reflected on how modern media's 24-hour news cycle leads to repetitive, sensationalized coverage at the expense of varied, global stories. The coverage of Payne's life and untimely death highlights a much larger conversation around media ethics and the responsibility journalists hold in striking a balance between popular and critical news. Payne, who achieved fame as part of One Direction, a band that took the world by storm, had an immense impact on fans worldwide. Yet, his career was not without challenges, and he faced struggles with mental health and substance use. The public scrutiny that often accompanies fame can exacerbate these issues, as was tragically evident in Payne's final days. In the aftermath of his death, Argentine authorities have been investigating the circumstances that led to Payne's fatal fall, and initial toxicology reports indicated the presence of substances such as cocaine and benzodiazepine in his system. Reports of additional drugs, such as pink cocaine, a potent mix of methamphetamine, ketamine, and MDMA, further painted a picture of a person potentially grappling with addiction. Given this, his death brings renewed attention to the toll fame can take on young artists who find themselves under constant public pressure. The tragedy has inspired a movement among Payne's fans for Liam's Law, a proposed initiative aimed at safeguarding artists' mental health in the demanding entertainment industry. The petition, which has amassed more than 65,000 signatures on change.org, calls for systemic changes within the music industry to ensure mental health resources are readily accessible. Liam's law would mandate regular mental health evaluations, rest periods, and on-site mental health professionals to support artists facing the pressures of fame and industry demands. Such measures, supporters argue, could potentially help mitigate the mental health crises that have plagued artists in recent years, reducing instances of stress, anxiety, depression, and substance abuse. The conversation surrounding Payne's death and the petition reflects a growing awareness of the unique pressures within the entertainment industry. Studies indicate that performers are 2 to 3 times more likely to suffer from mental health issues compared to the general population, largely due to the intense scrutiny and high expectations placed upon them. Advocates for Liam's law hope that the legislation would serve as a protective framework, enabling artists to prioritize their well-being without the fear of jeopardizing their careers. By enforcing preventive measures, they argue, the industry can reduce the need for intervention during crises. The proposed law also resonates with broader societal efforts to destigmatize mental health struggles and provide support for those affected by them. Fans who launched the petition on change.org have emphasized that Liam's law would not only benefit artists but would also contribute to a larger movement of mental health awareness across industries. Proponents argue that such a law could prevent young, talented individuals from reaching breaking points that too often result in tragedies like Payne's. At its core, the dialogue sparked by Buerk's comments and Payne's death underscores the complex relationship between fame, mental health, and media representation. As Payne's fans continue to pay tribute to his memory through vigils and social media posts, the ongoing discourse around his passing serves as a reminder of the power and responsibility that both media and society hold in how they approach tragedy. For some, Buerk's comments were a harsh reminder of the judgments often levied against individuals facing struggles, particularly those in the public eye. For others, they echoed a call for balance in media priorities and greater consideration for critical global issues. In a rapidly evolving media landscape, these debates call attention to the need for compassion, nuance, and awareness. As society becomes more attuned to the impact of mental health on individuals, particularly public figures, the importance of ethical journalism cannot be overstated. Through better support systems like Liam's Law and a commitment to respectful, balanced coverage, the media can help foster a world where the challenges faced by those in the spotlight are met with empathy and understanding, offering not only a way to honor the memory of figures like Payne but also to safeguard the well-being of future generations. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates on celebrity deaths and news updates.